Hello everybody, hope you're having a great day, but if you're not, hope this video can make it just a little bit better. But yeah, there's not much to say, so without further ado, roll the intro. Time skip. 2 years. Team 7 were currently training in a secluded mountain within the borders of the Land of Fire. For the past 2 years, they had been doing nothing more than training and traveling to some of the neutral countries. After Team 7 had left, Lady Tsunade had been named the 5th Hokage. Tsunade, through Hiruzen, who Tsunade had pulled out of his coma, had managed to contact Team 7 about a possible, though very likely, upcoming monumentous event. The other 5 great ninja villages had agreed to host a sort of joint mission to stamp out a group that was a thorn in all of their sides. About 6 months ago, Tsunade and the other Kage traveled to a summit where they had decided that the threat of the Akatsuki had gone on long enough. Once signed, the treaty, which had been unofficially dubbed the 5-Village Interlock, would provide a 5-way peace treaty between the villages. The treaty basically granted neutrality between the villages that were hostile with each other. Of course, all alliances made before the signing of the treaty would stay in place. The Land of Wind and the Hidden Sound would still rely on the Leaf and the Land of Fire for the massive shipments of coffee beans and other plants that grew within the Leaf's borders, or the Land of Fire's borders. And similarly, the Sand would still ship crates of various minerals that were mined in the desert to Konoha in the Land of Fire. The deal, or rather, the 5-way interlock treaty, only stopped outright hostility between villages. Surprisingly, the Hidden Stone were the first to sign, stating that they had lost one of the Jinchuriki, the 5 tails specifically, to the Akatsuki. The other 4 Kages quickly followed them in signing the treaty. Then came the problem at hand: how to dispose of the Akatsuki. Combining intelligence, the Kage had determined all 10 members of the group. Each village had agreed to take down certain members. The Leaf would be dealing with Itachi and Kisame, the Stone with Sasori and Deidara, the Cloud would be taking out Kakuzu and Hidan, and Zetsu would be contained and exterminated by a joint task force of the Sand and the Hidden Mist. That left Obito, Konan, and the 6 Paths of Pain, all of which would be taken care of by a joint task force of all the 5 villages. This all led to the current moment with Team 7. There was a fairly loud pop and a puff of smoke as a comical-looking monkey appeared in the middle of their training ground. It was wearing an oversized hat and had a small backpack with which it carried its letters. Message for Kakashi Hatake from the 5th Hokage, it gruffly called. Kakashi briskly walked forward and grabbed the letter. The monkey summon gave him a condescending glare as it poofed away, muttering something that sounded like, "Smells like those infernal dogs." Kakashi just smiled at Team 7's confused expression, with both his eyes, as his headband was pulled up. Summon clans don't always get along with each other, and Lord Third's monkey summons and my dogs happen to dislike each other. He turned back to the letter, reading it twice to make sure he hadn't missed anything. Kakashi then turned back to Team 7. "Okay, team, we're going to have our first mission," Kakashi called, mentally sighing at their expressions. Each of the members of Team 7 grinned, even the normally shy Hinata. They'd been getting tired of practicing against Kakashi, again and again, even though it helped both sides. Kakashi's new ability, Kamui as he called it, allowed him to take on all 3 members of Team 7 at once, but without it he could barely handle 2, let alone Naruto and Sasuke working together. Then he continued, preemptively cringing. "If we complete this mission successfully, all of you will be promoted to Tokubetsu Jonin. But don't get this mixed up, we're going after 2 S-rank criminals, one of which is your brother Sasuke. Their faces went from grins to beams and then faded, but their eyes burned with determination. "Let's do this," Sasuke said. His eyes held the most determination out of all of them. He would finally bring his brother down to justice. Time skip. 1 month. It had taken 1 month to track down Itachi and Kisame. They were hiding at an abandoned secret compound built by the Uchiha. Team 7 had split, with Kakashi and Hinata going after Kisame, and Sasuke and Naruto going after Itachi. "Don't get distracted," Itachi's voice snapped Naruto out of his thoughts as a giant pale orange arm came crashing down. Naruto pushed chakra to his legs, shooting away faster than he normally would have been able to. He didn't have time to reinforce his landing, so when he landed, pain laced up his legs. Nothing was broken or sprained, but it hurt something wicked. Naruto breathed out a sharp breath as he started changing the nature of his chakra. First lightning, then he stacked fire on top. The result was a roiling feeling underneath Naruto's skin, straining to escape. Forming a fist, Naruto punched towards the orange behemoth that surrounded Itachi. Plasma release. Lux cannon. The energy roiling beneath Naruto's skin escaped in a bright burst of energy, which then shot towards the orange thing, impacting an area where both Naruto and Sasuke had worked hard to make a mark in the deceptively tough exterior of Itachi's jutsu. A few seconds later, Naruto hissed as his arms were burned from the kickback of his last jutsu. Hey, slow down, Kurama mentally growled as a miniature version of himself appeared on Naruto's shoulder. Nobody outside of Naruto could see him, though. Your body's not used to plasma release. Don't go throwing around high-powered blasts of plasma unless you want what happened to your arm to happen to the rest of your body. Try and control the plasma nature chakra. That roiling feeling inside you isn't supposed to be happening. It shows you don't have full control yet. Kurama paused, reading Naruto's surface thoughts. And I strongly recommend against doing that. If you enact this plan of yours, you'll be put out of commission for a while. Possibly the rest of this fight. Though, not possibly, that's very likely in fact. I don't have a choice, Naruto thought back, jumping away as a slash of the sword from Itachi's behemoth impacted the ground where he was standing. I need to break the hide of whatever this thing is. It's called the Susanoo, Kurama spat out. If you're going to go ahead with this harebrained scheme of yours, aim for the spot you've already made a mark on. The Susanoo can't regenerate without powering up a level or completely resetting. And from the looks of it, Itachi doesn't have the energy to do either. Naruto gave a mental nod back as he flashed through familiar hand seals. The same roiling feeling came back to him, but 10 times stronger. Naruto paused as he forced the plasma nature chakra to comply. It was hard, as it naturally wanted to just explode outwards in all directions, but Naruto managed to exert some form of control over it. The sky darkened as a cloud 60 feet in diameter appeared. The cloud then started getting bigger, eventually forming a small storm, with no rain. Something Naruto had learned was that once a cloud had been formed, at least with chakra, it naturally wanted to get bigger, given a few nudges in the right direction. Say, absorb more moisture, and start stirring up wind inside. Purple lightning started flickering in the clouds above, though it was less flashy than normal. Sasuke, get out of the way, Naruto yelled. Sasuke didn't even look up, as he quickly jumped out of the blast range. He could feel the amount of electricity passing through the air. Once Naruto was sure he was clear, he used his most powerful technique. Plasma release. Lorentz bolt. A bright beam of purple energy blasted outwards from the clouds. Its movements were wild and chaotic, but Naruto just managed to aim it towards the small weakness in the Itachi Susanoo. It impacted with a booming noise that could be heard from miles away. When the smoke cleared, large chunks of Itachi Susanoo were crumbling off. Naruto shuddered heavily as his body screamed in protest at Naruto's decision to stay upright. The kickback from the jutsu was enormous, and Naruto really wanted to collapse, but he wouldn't. he couldn't rest until he knew for sure that their mission had been completed. Sasuke wasted no time in bolting forward, hands surrounded by scarlet flames. "This is for the Uchiha. I bring you to justice," Sasuke called out as he flew towards Itachi. It was over in a second, with Itachi falling backwards, a hole in his chest, and a peaceful expression on his face. Naruto sighed as his vision started to go dark. They did it. They completed the mission, and managed to take out an S-rank shinobi in the process, or rather two, if Naruto had any confidence, which he did, in Hinata and Kakashi's ability to deal with Kisame. Not bad, was Naruto's last thought before sleep overtook him. Anyway guys, thanks for listening. I hope to see you guys in the next video.